Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Cheryl Duffus, your faculty chair, and I'm making this video to show you how to get to the faculty meeting Blackboard.org and also to show you how to take the surveys there. We did a sample survey at the March faculty meeting, and I'm also today going to show you how I access or how anyone on Blackboard, whether they're the instructor for a class or the administrator for an org, can access the results of the survey to show you that they are anonymous and completely confidential. And then I will also show you how to get to the one that AAC would like you to complete next, and that is the survey to get your opinions about conducting an electronic meeting in April that would be a business meeting. We would be voting and all of that, and to get your opinions about the method of online voting using this Blackboard survey. So I also, with the email with this link, I'm also going to have a PDF that will have written instructions and take you through everything and show you screenshots. So if for some reason video isn't working for you, then you also have that resource. So the first thing I'm going to do here is share my screen so that you can see everything. So the first thing that you need to do is to log on to Web Connect, and we're all familiar with that, I hope. And then you just scroll down and you can click on Blackboard to open up Blackboard. So when we go to Blackboard and open it as instructors, the default page we see is this My Gardner Web tab. And that shows you a list of all the courses that you currently have in Blackboard. Move my screen over here. If you look over to the right of that tab, you'll see a bunch of other tabs, and everybody has access to those. So if you look over about 3 or 4 tabs, there's that organizations tab. And organizations are just kind of a way of saying, where's a group that wants to meet on Blackboard and use Blackboard as a way to communicate and to store things that's not a class. So most of us are in organizations for the committees that we're on, or your department or school may have a Blackboard org. You can even ask to have one created for your majors and minors or your graduate students. I mean, you can do so many creative things with these Blackboard orgs. So you should be, if you scroll down, and I'm in a bunch of them, if you scroll down and just click on the one called faculty meeting, that's the one we've been using since November for all of our faculty meeting materials. Now, if you're at this point in the video and you scroll down and you don't see faculty meeting, then that's a red flag that you need to immediately email me and let me know how to get you, that I need to put you on that org. And I apologize if you're not on there. We have tried to be very vigilant with getting all faculty on there, but sometimes with new faculty or returning faculty, sometimes they don't show up on this list. So if you open the faculty meeting org, you can see it looks just like a class. So that's a little confusing because we're obviously not a class. I'm not instructing anything. I'm just managing meetings and trying to facilitate communication. But if you're a user in an org, your role is very similar to that of a student in terms of what you can do and what you can access. So if you look down to the left, and this is what's called the left-hand navigation menu, you can see all of our meetings going back to November, and that's when we started using this org. So if you've been wondering where are all my meeting materials and why don't I get them from Karen Faree, that's because we've been using this Blackboard org since November. And it's hopefully a way to simplify communication and to avoid us having to search our emails for Karen's emails. And also, since, as we know, Karen is struggling with chronic health conditions, it just takes the stress off of her feeling like, you know, if she's not here one day because she's not feeling well and it happens to be the day she's supposed to email the materials out, then we don't all have to scramble and figure out an alternative, because this puts faculty in control of our meeting materials. So I always have it set up to go on the page that's current and relevant. So our April meeting is the one that's coming up. And I firmly believe in Blackboard that there should be one landing page for everything that you need right now. I don't like clicking around in Blackboard because it frustrates me. The first thing I want to share with you are the results from our March survey. So at that March meeting that was focused primarily on prayer and community, I asked y'all to complete a sample survey that was like a mock vote on approving the faculty minutes from February. It was not an official vote. It was just to get you familiar with how these surveys work. So in this folder here, I have just put screenshots of the gradebook and a user's voting attempt, as well as the Excel file that shows you the results from that sample survey. So I would strongly urge you to use a survey in your own classes to get a good idea of how it works. And I'll put some steps for that at the end of this video. But I think it will show you that an advantage of Blackboard's rigidity, which normally drives me crazy, a huge advantage of it is that I have no ability to alter the way these surveys work. They are set up at Blackboard Central, wherever that is, to be anonymous and confidential. I don't have an ability to find out who answered what or to match names to responses. So that's just something I think that in the past I've complained about Blackboard being rigid, but now I can see where that's an advantage in some situations because it prevents me from being nosy, I guess. So if you click on this Excel file, you can see, I think I just have this open here. Yes, you can see how you can see the questions here, and I've got something else up. I'm just going to close. There we go. I just won't close it. We'll just look at this window. Okay, you can see how we've got a file here, and basically Blackboard gives you the ability to download the compiled responses to a survey, and this can be very helpful if you have a huge class, or in this case, 130 faculty members. So you can see how I've downloaded all the responses, and it gives you a column for the question, and it gives you a column for the answers. And we had 2 questions, voting yes, no, or abstain on the February minutes, and then a question where you could just leave comments and opinions. So you can see in this column C that there are a variety of answers, yes, no, abstain. Those are our options for voting. And then the column F is where you can leave comments, and you can see how people left comments. There are no names except for mine when people wanted to communicate with me directly. And you can see in column C, column B, there are no names associated with the votes here. It's only numbers and what the votes actually are. So I'm hoping that that will help us to build confidence in using this tool. I have also included screenshots of the gradebook and a screenshot of what it looks like if I click on a student in the gradebook. So it's a little weird that these organizations have gradebooks because obviously this isn't a class, but Blackboard's very rigid. It can only show you things in one way. So again, that could be an advantage of it. But since I'm the administrator or instructor for the class, if I go down and click on the gradebook, I'm showing you everything that I can see as an administrator. You can see the list of faculty who are in this Blackboard org. I don't think it's proprietary because it's just the public list of faculty. So you can see here under the sample survey in the gradebook that there is just a list of check marks. I can't see how people voted. It doesn't say yes, no, or any of the comments. It's just a list of check marks. And if I go in to look at a certain student, I'm picking Tracy Arnold here, and I look at that person's attempt, all I see on the screen is a check mark. And the reason why it's set up for this is that you may want to assign a grade for students participating in a survey. I use this survey all the time, especially with my gen ed classes, because we use it for our assessment purposes, for their, I guess, self-evaluation of their learning and the skills that they're becoming more proficient at in the class. And so I will give them, like 5 points extra credit for doing the survey. And so from that point of view, it can be very helpful to see who's done it. And so that's the only reason why you have this ability to check on a user's attempt. Again, you can see it does not show me how this person voted. It doesn't show me any comments that they may or may not have left. You can even hide the username right here, which I'm not going to do because it might mess up my screen. But there are lots of different things we can do. So again, it only shows you the individual user because it's default thinking of it like a class, and you might want to give your students some extra credit. So that's how that works. I'm hoping that that will show everyone that I really don't have the ability to manipulate this. So the next survey that AAC would like you to take is a faculty survey for your feedback on an electronic April meeting and on online voting at that April meeting. We very much, AAC feels very strongly that faculty need to claim their ability to conduct business. And I've had several emails from people saying, you know, we're expecting our students to adapt and to go online and to make these changes and to be flexible. And we really need to hold ourselves up to the same standards that we're asking our students to do. And so I think that even though this is unusual and it's not necessarily in our Constitution, although other people have made the point, well, it's not prohibited in our Constitution to have an electronic meeting. AAC and myself, we feel very strongly that we need to function as faculty, and these are extraordinary circumstances, and we need to hopefully adapt to them. So anyway, that's my little preachy moment here. So if you look at this faculty survey, again, if you didn't do the sample one, you just click on it to start it, and you click begin. And then you can see that we've set it up to have 4 questions. The first question is just yes or no, indicating your willingness to use Zoom as we did with the prayer and community gathering. The second question is rating your confidence in anonymous online voting. And I'm hoping by showing you how I can see the results from that previous survey will help to build confidence that I really can't get into your private vote. And I'm not a technology person, trust me. I would have no way of figuring that out. I'm not one of these hacker people. Then we have 2 questions just asking for your feedback. So the first question is asking for your feedback about conducting the faculty meeting over Zoom. A lot of you have already emailed me some really helpful suggestions, and I welcome them. I've been using Zoom for several years, but not in this format with over 100 people. So AAC and I would really value your suggestions for improvement, or any questions or concerns that you have thought of that we haven't, because this is a group effort. And then we also have a question for you leaving your comments about using the Blackboard survey. You may have some suggestions for making that better. You may think, oh, I want someone else to be getting these results and not the faculty chair, and I would be happy to hand over my administrative abilities to someone else to be able to download and look at the results of a survey or voting for the faculty meeting in April. I know that Emily can she already has administrative authority into all of our Blackboard stuff, so it would be easy for me to just hand that over to her. So anything that you can think of that will improve the logistics of having an online meeting or will improve or boost confidence in anonymous voting. So I haven't voted anything, and I don't get to vote as faculty chair. So I just need to get out of here. So I'm just getting out. So you just click OK at the end, and it does give you a little window here showing how you voted. And you can see I didn't vote because I don't get to vote, faculty chair. So you can see it's time date stamped, you can see your votes, etc. And you could take a screenshot of this and save it. You could try to print it out, although I don't recommend printing out from a Blackboard view, etc. So that's how you access that survey for online voting. And I guess that would be the end of my instructions for how to do that. With this email, I'm also going to be including a PDF that has written instructions and screenshots taking you through all these steps. Now something, and if you're happy and you want to quit now watching this video, then that's okay. But if you've never used a survey in your classes before, I'm going to give you just I'm going to show you how to do that, because I think if you gave a survey to your class, that would help you feel more comfortable with the technology. So you would just go into Tools, wherever in your Blackboard structure you want to put this, and nope, it's not Tools, see? Assessment. And you would just click on Survey. And it's create a survey, so that's very obvious. It's like this screen, I think, looks a lot like if you create a discussion board or the journal assignment or another assignment. So we always want to create a new one. Then you can give it a name. I'll just call this Student Survey. You can type in a description if you want to. I have found in these first prompts from Blackboard with an assignment, sometimes I type in the description and it deletes it. It's extremely annoying. So I never put that in until I have to. Then you just submit it, and then it tells you you have no questions. So obviously you need to create some questions. I have to admit, I've never uploaded questions, so I don't have a lot of guidance on that. But you can create a question, and you can see that you can pick the type of question that you want to use. So for the faculty surveys, I have had multiple choice as well as short answer. And the short answer, I think, gives you a little more space to leave comments. You could also put a fill in the blank or fill in multiple blanks if you wanted a short answer for the purposes of your quiz with your students or your survey with your students. And you don't even have to use this for something about learning. You could survey your students just to check in and see how they're doing emotionally and mentally and spiritually. You could use it to garner some prayer requests if that's something you're doing with your class. You could use it just to ask your students questions like, what's one thing that has made this transition to online in my class easier? And then you'll know, hey, I did something right. Yay, I'm very excited about that. You could also ask them, is there something I could be doing that would make this easier? And that might help you see something simple maybe you could do that would help your students be a little more successful. So you just pick the kind of question that you want. So here with multiple choice, you give it a title. You have to have a little question here. You can choose the numbering, the type of numbering you want, how it looks, vertical, or I'm guessing horizontal. And then it defaults to 4 answers, but if you want more or less, you can remove to get down to 2 or 3 or 1, and you can also add, I believe. Yes, you can add a category. So it will ask you at the bottom if you want to create another. If it says submit and create another, that means you're creating the same type of question. And if you're done with that question, or you only have one question, or if you're done with that type of question, or you only have one question, you can just hit submit and then you're done. And right here, I'm gonna just hit cancel. So you can add as many different types of questions as you would like. And let's see. It's gonna get grumpy with me if I hit submit and I don't have anything here. So I'll just put question one. The nice thing about the computer is it can't read. I like for the Arabic numerals, number of answers. Let's see, yes, no, abstain. And then here I want to remove one. So that'll show you how you remove it, and it's not the end of the world, etc. So submit, that's the only one I'm going to have. And then it'll show you your question. So you can check and see if you like how it looks. And then if you're happy with that, then you can click OK, or you can go up and create more questions. You can do whatever you want. So click OK and submit. And submit again, because Blackboard loves all the submits and the screens. So if I go down here, you can see it right there. You have to go in and, and make it available to the students so that they can see it, etc. You can do things where you put, let's see. You can put, no, that's the wrong one. So you can see how I'm fumbling around. You can edit the survey options. And that's where you can make it available. You can choose if you want them to have more than one attempt, although I don't know, I can't imagine why I would want to do that. You can set a timer. You can force them to complete it in one sitting. You can add time and date restrictions. You could even have a password if you wanted to. So going into those edit survey options, you can have a due date. Sometimes it's good to have a due date just because they won't do it. It'll just be lingering there, etc. So you can do lots of things where you edit the choices that students have. And I'm sure that if we use this in our faculty meeting for voting, we're going to have a lot of those time restrictions, because we have time restrictions when we meet in our faculty meeting as well. You don't get to keep your ballot and vote over the course of a week. You're supposed to vote during the actual faculty meeting itself. So I hope that this is helpful in showing you how to access Blackboard and the faculty meeting org, how to click on that survey and do it, and also to help you see how you could set up a survey with your own students. Again, I would highly encourage you to do this, offer them a little bit of extra credit. That always builds goodwill and cheer, and have them take a survey, and then you can look at the results and build some more confidence. If you're wondering how to see those results, you just go to your grade book and you can click on just the individual student, the attempt. But if you want to look at all of them, this is a little bit tricky. You have to go up in the little gray part of the grade book and you click on the assignment, and then you can download results. I think you can look at statistics. You could clear it. I wouldn't do that. That always makes me nervous, clearing anything from the students have done. So that's how you can work a survey. And again, you know, I've used them a lot. All right, I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to sign off. I hope that you are all doing well. I'm praying for all of you, praying for all of our safety and health, and praying also for God's strength as we work through this time and as we try to survive as a community and a nation during this pandemic. So bless you all, and I hope to see you soon on Zoom.